Hello everybody, my name is Alexis. I'm an entrepreneur, speaker, and author of the book A Journey into Truth, Unveiling Life's Secrets for Truth Seekers. And you are watching the Vibrate to Create YouTube channel. And on this channel, I talk about life, philosophy, meaning, art, spirituality, metaphysics, and so much more. If you're interested in topics like these, then click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified of when I post new videos so you never miss a video. Thank you for being a part of my journey. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hi guys, thank you for joining me. So today I had an idea. I always have these bright ideas. I actually had the idea that I wanted to do another Movies to Inspire video. And I really love doing these videos because I get to kind of talk about these characters' lives and how it impacted my life, and also how it kind of, I feel like movies, they really imitate life and they teach us so much about life. And so that's why I love movies so much, and I've talked about it before. But today I really wanted to do another movie, and I had the idea this morning as I was getting ready to start filming and to actually start speaking, and I had the idea that I really wanted to do the movie Under the Tuscan Sun this time, or today at least. And I have a couple of hours here in the studio, so I've got some time to do a couple of videos at once. And so yeah, I wanted to do Under the Tuscan Sun. I actually haven't seen the movie in quite a while, but that's just the movie that popped in my head this morning of something I'd like to share with you guys. And yeah, so let's do that movie. Okay, so let's do Under the Tuscan Sun today. And let's see what comes up. Because like I said, I haven't seen this movie in quite a while, and just for some reason, maybe intuition, maybe just a little inkling of something to add into here, I thought I want to do Under the Tuscan Sun. I haven't seen that movie in so long, but I remember it touching me deeply. And so let's see what comes up here. So first we're going to, like we do usually, go over the summary of the movie. So it's actually a book, Under the Tuscan Sun. And this website, penguinrandomhouse.com, so it's the publishing house, it says this is a #1 New York Times bestseller. It's the beloved memoir of self-discovery set against the spectacular Tuscan countryside that inspired the major motion picture starring Diane Lane. Okay, so this is the synopsis of the movie, and it says, after a rough divorce, Frances, a 35-year-old book editor from San Francisco, takes a tour of Tuscany at the urgings of her friends. On a whim, she buys Bramasol, a run-down villa in the Tuscan countryside, and begins to piece her life together, starting with the villa, and finds that life sometimes has unexpected ways of giving her everything she wanted. And I love this movie. I remember it very well. So it's Under the Tuscan Sun. There's also Eat, Pray, Love, which is in the book that I talk about very shortly at the very beginning of the book in the introduction. Eat, Pray, Love is a good one. And I'm thinking of a couple, but I want to keep them to myself because maybe I want to make videos about them. Okay, so this is Under the Tuscan Sun, and let's find a clip of the movie. So first off, I haven't seen any of these clips, and I've only seen this movie, I've seen it a couple of times actually, but it was a long time ago, so I haven't seen it in a long time. So I don't know what's going to come up in these clips, but like I said, I just had the idea that this is what I wanted to do today. So this is what we're doing.
You start a marriage with champagne, you should finish it that way too. To freedom. Okay. Open.
A 10-day tour to romantic Tuscany.
I am not ready to meet anyone.
Oh, you won't.
It's a gay tour of romantic Tuscany. Oh.
You are gay and away.
It's a nice little villa. Are you going to buy it? The way my life has been going, that'd be a terrible idea.
Terrible idea. Don't you just love this?
Stop the bus! I'd like to make an offer on the house. This is what I can pay. Minus the work on the place and a rental car to drive off a cliff when this all turns out to have been a terrible mistake.
You've not even seen the house.
I can't go back. I've bought a house in a foreign country. There's a little fixing up to do.
I never realized you were so handy.
I'm in Italy. I can hire the muscular descendants of Roman gods.
Can you star 69 Italy?
I have inherited one grape and assorted tenants. I bought a house for a life I don't even have.
Why did you do it then?
Because I'm sick of being afraid all the time.
You think maybe I'm just trying to pull you up?
Pull me up. Pick me up.
Pick me up.
I knew it! I knew it! Woo!
This fall. I see you have survived the storm.
But the washing machine is dead.
You're probably one of those crazy American women like Charlie's Angels.
Life offers us 1,000 chances. All we have to do is take one.
Unthinkably good things can happen. Even late in the game. It's such a surprise.
Under the Tuscan Sun.
Under the Tuscan Sun, which you may recall is the title of the best-selling book by Frances Mays. And all these years later, that's exactly where Rita Braver found her.
It's one of the most famous villas in Tuscany, attracting a constant stream of tourists.
So what is the house called?
Bramasole. Bramare, to yearn for, and sole, the sun.
Yes, it is that house from the book, the place that American Frances Mays felt an irresistible urge to buy back in 1990.
And it was a mess.
It was derelict. This whole front garden was practically in the road.
Mays transformed the 300-year-old property outside and in, even breaking through walls.
And when we started opening that, of course, we thought the house was falling down. That was one scene in the movie that was really accurate.
Under the Tuscan Sun was the movie that was based on her memoir about restoring the house. The book spent more than 2.5 years on the bestseller list, much to the shock of this one-time professor and poet.
I did not know that this was based on her actual real life, like an actual memoir. How beautiful. I got teary-eyed. I was like, how beautiful. Okay, let's keep going.
It's of poetry, which means not at all.
Why do you think it touched a chord with so many people?
Well, I've wondered that a lot. It's a woman taking a risk and doing something out of the plan, and out of expectations, even her own expectations. And then, of course, as a writer, I like to think it's the writing.
The film does depart from the book, with lovelorn Frances, played by Diane Lane,
You have beautiful eyes, Francesca.
taking up with an Italian lover,
What's your next project?
which doesn't faze her longtime real-life partner at all.
The book is about two happy people who come to Tuscany and become happier. There is no movie at all there.
But Ed Mays, like his wife, a poet and professor, was here from the beginning.
Many relationships would never have survived the redoing of a house like this. What was the key?
I think it's love. Respect, sense of adventure.
And this is a gorgeous Renaissance church.
Those adventures are featured in the 7 other books Mays has now written about Italy.
Hello.
Hello.
You never expected to have what happened happen, did
No,
you?
no. Isn't that great, though, not to be able to expect? Because if you can expect it and predict it, it's not as much fun.
It's true.
I like that line. If you can expect it, it's not fun. I had a conversation with somebody where we were talking about plans, and I said something like, well, I think it is good to have a plan, and also some of the best things that have ever happened in my life have been things I didn't plan. and things I wasn't sure were going to happen, but I still took that leap of faith anyways. And my book is all about taking leaps of faith, and it's all about following your own internal system, your own internal guidance, and your own intuition about how you want your specific life to go. Let's do maybe one more clip from the movie. So this one says, Under the Tuscan Sun, best scene.
Say they built the train tracks over the Alps between Vienna and Venice before there was a train that could make the trip. They built it anyway. They knew one day the train would come. Any arbitrary turning along the way, and I would be elsewhere. I would be different. What are four walls, anyway? They are what they contain. The house protects the dreamer. Unthinkably good things can happen, even late in the game. It's such a surprise.
Ooh, okay. My eyes are all watery. They say they built the train tracks. Okay, let me re-say this. Why am I so emotional? Okay. They say they built the train tracks. They say they built the train tracks over the Alps between Vienna and Venice before there was a train that could make the trip. But they built it anyway. They knew one day the train would come. Any arbitrary turn along the way, like she's saying, any different path that she would have taken in her life would have led her to not be who she was. How beautiful, how beautiful. I think that moves me so much because so many times, like we go, like me specifically, I've been through some things, and at the time you don't think this is going to be for my highest good, or this is going to be a really good thing. You're like, I hate this. Like, this is the most terrible thing I've ever been in my life. And, you know, it's very easy to fall into becoming a victim to life. But in the moment that you well, first off, let's go over what she said about the train tracks. So she said they built the train tracks something like between the Alps and Vienna without knowing if there would ever be a train. To me, that is so symbolic because it's like, for example, like when you're an entrepreneur, you lay down the tracks. I don't have my, oh, actually I do have it. Hold on. What a coincidence, huh? So I just finished a business training with Clinton Swain and Frontier Trainings. It was about 7 days where I was fully just there from 9 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, just fully taking in a bunch of learnings and experiences in that training. And I was reading the manual yesterday, and I read this tiny little piece because it's about building a business empire. So as I was reading the manual, this part really stuck out to me. Yes, so this is in his introduction in his manual, and it says, "It's often said that Rome wasn't built in a day. In fact, it wasn't built in a month, a year, or even a decade. It grew slowly over time, sprouting from a small settlement planted among several others on the hilltops of central Italy. And it only truly took root as commerce enriched its coffers and tilled the fertile ground around it for further expansion. What caused its eventual explosion into an immortal empire? What was its real secret? There wasn't one. Rather, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of smaller steps, only some of which were kept shrouded as secrets. All told, it took more than 700 years of political intrigue, military predominance, and sheer economic prowess to grow into the sprawling Roman Empire encompassing most of Europe and even lapping the shores of the British Isles. So it is in business too. Your bottom line success is drawn clearly in the rigor of your blueprints, laid firmly in the strength of your foundation, hewn in the quality of your bricks, and cemented with the mortar of your mastery. It requires artful architecting and exquisite attention to detail all along the way to achieve ascendance above the rest. And when I heard that, I think that's why I got so emotional, because it's like that in business, but it's like that in life for anybody, no matter what you're building or no matter what you're doing, because each of us is creating our lives and creating our dreams and our passions and the things we want to look forward to. And when she said she said that it said that they built it without actually knowing it was going to work out. They built it on the sheer love for wanting to build it, and then it worked out in the end. I think that is so beautiful, because it's like sometimes you need to take a leap of faith in life, in business, in relationships, in, just anything in life. Like if you want to build a house, if you want to do something specific, taking those tiny little steps and enjoying the process as you're moving through that to actually get to the end goal. And then just the sheer excitement and the love for I'm here. I built this thing. And even my book, I'm going to read a tiny little piece of the book at the end of the book. So this is in the epilogue. I said, "This book has been a journey to complete all on its own. When deciding to begin writing and self-publishing, I never could have fathomed how much work would go into it. I have grown so much just from choosing to take the first step to see this work out to its completion. The decision to self-publish meant that I was the person who decided on the cover design, the formatting and margins, how it would go out into the public, and to whom. I researched how to format a book, down to how big margins had to be to account for the space lost in the spine, how big paragraph indentations should be, how big of spacing, what font to use, etc. I created this entire piece with my creative choice, ideas, time, and work. The list of what I have learned on this self-publishing path is endless. I researched where to publish it. I found out how to get it into more than one retailer and how to get it into the hands of you who are now reading this. Picture a snail traveling across an entire state. At the beginning, it seems like he will never get there. He chugs along this entire state, moment after moment, growing closer and closer to his finish line. He makes it to the middle of the state, looks behind himself at the progress he's made, and thinks to himself, I've done so much, but have so much more to go. He can't turn back now, he's already halfway there. So he keeps trudging along until finally, one day, he makes it to his destination. That's what this process was like. There were moments I looked back at all that I had already completed, yet I still understood that there was much more to go. You just read the awareness I came to. I'm going to skip this part. Writing this book was like mining for diamonds and finding one in a cave somewhere. Then once finding it, seeing the potential for its beauty and beginning to craft it into a masterpiece. The diamond was the idea, writing the words, editing, refining, and perfecting was the chipping away at the imperfections, creating various facets in the diamond to bring out its beauty. Believing in the potential beauty of the diamond is vital. This idea reminds me of many of the thoughts inside the book. Beauty can be made of something that does not look complete or pretty to begin with. And this movie, it talks about this woman who, she buys a villa that's very run down and it needs a lot of work. And she has to put so much work into it to make it into what she wants it to be. But at the end, you get to see the transformation of not only the house and the things that she's put into it, but also of the woman, the person who decided to take that journey to start that process. And so this reminds me so much of my process of making the book. So it says, I chipped away about 400 instances of the words had, path, and journey during the editing process. There are still many instances of those words in this book, so imagine what it looked like before I took those guys out. I have learned so much about being or becoming an author that I'd never have known had I not decided to begin the process. With this in mind, if you have a venture or adventure you've dreamed of going on, take that first step. And I think that's maybe why that movie or that book was so inspiring to so many people, because it's about somebody who was fearless enough and had enough courage to actually take the first step on a huge project. And she was like, well, she created a whole new life for herself because she decided to change her life, to change the direction of how her life was going, because, you know, it's like it was all in shambles. It was like her divorce was ending or her marriage was ending, and she decided, I'm just going to buy a new house and I'm going to move out there. At least the one in the book or in the movie. And it says, nobody knows everything that they will do for the rest of their lives. Every business venture that ever began started somewhere, with one snail deciding, I am going to make it to that state, and then taking the steps to perfect that diamond. I hope that setting out on this journey of sharing my story, experiences, and thoughts impacts your own life's journey somehow. That was my reason for setting out on this writing venture in the first place. So I remember how much work and like late nights that I stayed up and deadlines I was wanting to meet when I had the cover designer working on the spine, and I needed to know how many pages were in a specific amount of time, so I had to hurry up and finish the book on time. And so it was like there were these moments where I was like, I don't know if I can do it by that time, and it was just I had a deadline because I wanted to release the book on February 2nd, 2022, and so it was really perfect timing the way it all kind of came together. And like, so that my point in bringing this book up is when she talked about the train and not knowing where it would be leading or whose life it would be touching, they still decided to put down the train tracks and to actually take the small little steps, like in the manual of my teacher who's talking about business ventures, laying down those little bricks and not knowing there's going to be a train coming. And then when you get to see the train actually moving and you're like, I believed this train would come and here it is. And so I guess that's my message to you is it doesn't even have to be a business thing. It doesn't even have to be an idea. It could just be, I have a goal or I have a dream that I want to own a home. And then laying down the tiny little bricks that are needed, like, okay, how do I figure out how to budget every single month, and how many months is that going to take me? And how am I going to do this? But really believing that one day that train is going to be sitting there right in front of you, and you're going to be like, I laid down every single brick.